Hey y'all, I'm Ava LaShay and welcome to Screams and Queens Killer Q&A. This is our very first one. It's something we've been wanting to do for a while and we're very excited to do so. And joining us today is one of my drag children. We have Lola Corruption with us. How you doing, Lola?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We're excited to have you and thank you for being our guinea pig for our very first ever Screams and Queens Killer Q&A.
Oh, I love a little pocket pet.
So Lola is also a big horror fan, so this is perfect. And this is something we've been planning to do for a while, but it's been really, really crazy. It's been hot in Livermore, where we live, where I live. And so trying to set all this up and not bring Lola out from a cooler climate and have her melt was very, very important to us. So we finally get to do it, and Lola had specifically asked to do something Scream related because she's rocking this sickening outfit. Who designed this?
This is actually done by Chaotic Creations on Instagram.
Yes, come on,
You can
Chaotic
find her on
Creations.
Instagram.
You'll be hearing from me because this is sickening. All right, so today, as I mentioned, we're doing our killer Q&A. So we're going to ask you a couple of questions. You get to respond, just whatever comes to mind, and we're just going to have fun with it. So our first question. What was the first horror film you ever watched?
The first horror film I ever watched was actually Scream, believe it or
Yes.
not.
Ooh.
It came out when I was 3 years old, and I remember watching it really young with my dad. It was one of the only ways that me and my dad would bond when I was a child. And I remember watching Scream a lot. Billy Loomis was my first crush.
Gotta love Billy Loomis. I had a crush. I had a crush on Billy and Stu. It was not healthy. To this day, honestly, like I know if I'm watching a horror movie or any type of movie and I'm attracted to a character, that character's probably the killer.
Yeah, don't let me come across the videos of Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich, like all the conventions they've been doing.
I know we
I'll
just
sit there
missed
for
them.
hours.
They were at GalaxyCon. We had so much going on, we didn't get to go. And Avery was out of town. So Avery's here, by the way, just off camera. So everyone say hi to Avery. Yeah. So second question. Favorite villain? Why? And would you be able to escape them?
Favorite villain would probably have to be Michael Myers. The suspense.
My favorite.
And yes, I think I'd be able to escape him.
Yeah.
He doesn't run much.
He walks. He
and I'm
walks.
a big girl, so
The fact that you know what tripped Lori up so much was that she just kept stopping. Every time she thought she defeated Michael, she would just lay down, turn around, sit down on the floor and cry. And I'm like, why are you turning your back to this person that keeps getting up? But he doesn't run.
Yeah.
So it's like, he always seems to catch up with people, but he does not run. So it's like, yeah.
Exactly. I always see the videos on Instagram or TikTok, of people trying to play it out like they're like, oh, like with the locked doors at the keys at the door.
Yeah.
And trying to escape the killer. And I'm like, I could do this easily. Some of them
Literally.
take a little while.
But some of us have also
That's what
practiced
we need,
that.
though.
That's what we
need.
need
The first to go.
Exactly.
So that the rest of us can.
Exactly. If you're like me, it's something you've practiced as a kid when watching horror movies. You put yourself in fake scenarios where you're running through your house and in the scenario. Yeah.
They're essentially a training manual.
Yeah. And we still run up the stairs. We can't lie to ourselves. We all do it. All right. Question 3. Favorite horror franchise?
Favorite horror franchise would have to be Scream.
Yeah.
It would. It's the one for me.
It's the one.
Yeah.
It's the most consistent franchise. All the other franchises, I love them, but they're so inconsistent. It's like the multiverse of the storylines. And Scream is very consistent, even with the changeover to the new directors after West passed with 5 and 6. Kevin Williamson was still involved, so that was good. But it's the most consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think of the Halloween trilogy or series as well, and I think when they did the whole reboot, it was a really good idea, and then I feel like it kind of just fell off there towards the end as well.
That third one. It was rough.
Could have gone in a completely different direction.
It was okay. So those movies, I just recently rewatched those for fun, and because I love the Halloween franchise. I would say that one is my favorite but it's the fact that it is a multiverse at this point is so chaotic. But I have fun with that. Some people feel some type of way about 4 and 5. I love 4 and 5. I always thought 6 was the weakest one, Curse of Michael Myers, up
Okay.
until the most recent, like the final film, Halloween Ends. Because the first one, I was like, okay, this works. You know, they gave Jamie Lee Curtis what she always wanted with like wanting to play Laurie with like complete trauma.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. The second one got really campy with him basically being invincible and everybody just making poor decisions. And that was fun to a certain degree, but then it was just like, what the heck is happening? Um, but I still enjoyed it. But then the third one, I was like, what? And Michael was barely in it. And it was like this
Right.
weird, like, transference of power
Right.
situation with the dude from the Sabrina Carpenter music video. And I was just like, what is this? I don't know. Wild. Yeah.
One of the ones I like to go back to is one of the classics for me is Halloween H2O. It's one of
I
my
love
favorites.
H2O.
The
Yeah.
scene with the hand in the garbage disposal always
Yeah.
freaks me out. Every time I clean out my garbage disposal,
Yeah.
flashbacks.
They faked us out on that one.
And
They
then
did.
Resurrection, they did Laurie so dirty.
They did Dolores so with the hair. The hair was the dirtiest part. It wasn't even the fact that they killed her character off. It was that hair. I'm like, why does she look like this? I know you've been through some things, girl, but there's no reason. There's no excuse. I know they have some form of shampoo in this
Right.
mental institution,
That was the
but
first taste of trauma.
but I know she at that point she was probably just done. She's like, get me out of here. And I did like Resurrection. There was just things like about it that were very cheesy and like what is it? The actress is it Katie Sokoloff or something like that? And she was on like Battlestar Galactica. And she was great on other things, but she was giving like hardcore like I'm trying to be Brittany Murphy vibes, and I was just like killer,
Kill her. Get
killer.
her out.
Question 4: Who is your horror icon?
Horror icon. Honestly, it has to be Tatum. Tatum Riley. It's Tatum Riley. It's that scene.
Oh,
Excuse me, Mr. Ghostface. my favorite scene.
yeah.
My favorite scene.
Tatum is
She's
sickening.
such an icon.
Rose McGowan in general, icon.
Gay icon.
But Tatum was just such a fun character, such a smart character, because it was something that was really cool. And Avery and I did a review year or so back about Nightmare on Elm Street
Mm-hmm.
and Wes Craven, and how Nancy was really a shift for a final girl and a shift for a stronger character, a stronger female character in horror, because Wes Craven had historically had all the stereotypical like female is falling when she's running and all
Right.
these things, and his daughter like went off on him. Like his daughter had like that's what I'd heard. His daughter had like told him like this isn't cute. Like why do the girls always like this? So Nancy was the shift, which really, you know, changed how he wanted to like find those roles or
Mm-hmm.
the scripts where the female leads were stronger. And I think that's something really cool about Scream is not just, you know, Sydney or Gail, but so many of the female characters are very strong.
Yeah.
And fight for themselves and fight for their lives. And Tatum, you're rooting for her all the way through. Yeah, I support it. I support it.
Love Tatum.
And honestly, girl, like she should have known those weren't going to make it through the cat door. Doggy door maybe, but the cat door. Fun fact: Avery and I did go to Spring Hill Estates, which is the Stumacher house. It's in Tamales, California. And sadly, the cat door is no longer there. But I don't really think you want one of those up there because it's very country and anything could probably get into your garage. But there are pictures on Instagram here on Screams and Queens. And you can go on Avery's page, Avery Nightmare, and you can see her as Tatum in the garage. Cool stuff.
That is cute.
All right. So, question 5. Favorite final girl from any film?
Favorite final girl. I would have to say Laurie, Miss Laurie Strode.
Yes.
She has to be my favorite.
Yes.
Especially when they did the reboot comeback where she was this powerful, strong, like traumatized, but you still weren't getting her.
Oh, yeah.
And she was always ready.
Yes. I love a survivalist
The OG.
character. I do, yeah, because you see different, and with H2O, you see a different version of her. You
Hmm.
can see with Resurrection that she was trying to go in that
Yeah,
direction, where she ended up and landed in the Halloween reboot, and it was fun. It was a really fun idea. She'd obviously lived a life. She'd been married 2 times. She had her kid, but she was still like so on edge. And
hmm,
honestly, if I lived through something like that, I would also train my kid in combat. In
exactly.
general, it's a harsh world out there.
You got
Like
to be prepared.
exactly.
They'll always come back.
Yes, love Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee. If you ever see this girl,
Another
we
gay
love you.
icon.
We love you. All right. Who is your ultimate scream queen? Very similar to the same question, but there's so many scream queens.
Ultimate Scream Queen. Honestly, one of the things that I love from the Scream franchise is Gail Weathers. Her
Yes.
scream is iconic. And the
Yes.
close ups of her screams, specifically in Scream 3,
Yes.
iconic.
They
Those
are so good.
bangs,
Yeah.
but
The bangs. I'm giving movie one Gail
before the bang mess
before
up.
the bang mishap. In three, David Arquette, you know what you did. No, and they were so good because they really always did have that zoom in on her whenever
Hmm.
she screamed, and it was always, it was very Sarah Michelle Gellar as Helen Shivers,
Yes,
where it
yes.
was very like there's the intensity, but like Gail, and I love that because I don't think many people would answer Gail because she is a scream queen,
Hmm.
but she's just always so like Gail that I think people always just kind of like they're like, oh yeah, she's like a whole other entity. She's tough,
Yeah.
but
But she's still around.
she's
She's been
still
through it all
around.
too.
She's been shot, stabbed, shot again. She was shot twice. She's so skinny too. Like, girl, like what bionic like
Right, with the
skin,
amount of blood she must have lost. Like, how
so
are you still
much. Just
here?
and then getting tossed around. Gail is a beast though. She is a beast. We love her. Do you scare easily?
I do scare easily. I startle very easily. Jump scares get me, but
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why I love horror movies so much. You would think with how much I watch them that I would be used to them, but they still get me. But yeah, you can ask my boyfriend Jerry. He will tell you. He comes up behind me and I will scream, and he's just like, "I was just," and yeah, just
Yes. Hi,
don't
Jerry.
do it.
No, that's real. I mean, honestly, I don't scare. I think as I get older, I scare a little easier than I used to. I don't. There's something about getting older, y'all. I know I don't look it because I'm black and black don't crack. My knees do though. But I feel I do get a little more sensitive. I think in my I can't watch an ASPCA commercial without getting emotional. But I do think I get like I'm more prone to jump scares. Also, like complete side note, anybody watching this, if you are scared of horror movies, I'm gonna give you like a fun life hack. Okay, watch a horror movie on mute and it will not get you because the sounds it's true because the sounds are really what pushes the intensity and like the when the jump scares and everything in the beat, and it just like prones you to jump. But if you don't know anything's coming and it's not building up that anticipation because there's no music to guide you or sound to guide you, it won't scare you as much, and then you're like, okay, this is just happening, and then go back and watch it afterwards with sound. But yeah, but there's I think because I grew up watching these movies, they just a lot of them didn't affect me, so I would try to find ones to scare me,
Yeah.
I watched the Strangers, the first Strangers when it came out, the only Strangers, let's be real here. Pray at Night, it was cute, but it was a separate movie. But the first Strangers, I watched it Halloween night, the year it came out, when it came out on DVD. Halloween night, I had the lights turned off in my house. I was the only one home. I was sitting with like in the with on the couch that had like the sliding glass door was to my right, and there was like all this space behind me in
Hmm.
the front door, and I had the surround sound on just to do all these things to like amp it up to
Right.
like try to scare me. And then it
The
did
scene was
scare
set.
me because it's a scary movie,
Right.
because it's more realistic of things that can happen. But it is, yeah. But as I get older, I definitely
Yeah.
scare easily.
I definitely remember watching Strangers and being afraid of being home alone. Specifically, like when Jerry and I went and took our dog Hero out to the snow. and we stayed in a cabin out there. And I remember being like at night, and that's the first thing that came to my head. It's just like, what if? Just what if they just
Because you were
came a knocking
there.
because we were good?
Because you were there. That's the most. That's Avery's like that when it gets to that part, and that's the line. Avery's like, "Screw this movie," because that's
That part.
Avery's biggest thing. Is like, why? And then they're like, "Because you were home." Shady. I'm also very because again, y'all, this is our first one. Avery and I have done the videos before, but this is our first killer Q&A. So I'm very Kelly Clarkson. I'm talking a lot as well. But we never said we wouldn't. So um, I love Kelly Clarkson. I want that on the record. Okay. What's your favorite scary movie and why?
My favorite scary movie. I say it has to be Scream 1.
Yes.
It has to be Scream 1. It was going to be Scream. Let's not play.
Yes.
But it has to be Scream 1 because it's the original. It's what set the tone for it. It also changed the way we saw horror movies and slasher films at the time. One of the things I love about it is that it made fun of itself the entire time.
Yes.
And there's like the whole scene with Sydney talking on the phone about how they have some ditzy blonde running up the stairs when she should be running out the front door. And then when it's Sydney's turn, what does she do? She does attempt to get through that front door, but she ends up running up the stairs. And it's just so hilarious. That's like, makes fun of itself.
Because she put her own lock on for safety. She did the right thing. She had the bolt on, but the chain lock, and then she couldn't get out of her own house, and she had to run up the stairs. And that's real because the reality is, until you're in one of those situations, you do not know what you're going to do or how you're going to react or how you can react given the circumstances. Like, okay, I might not be near the door. I might be, or, what have you. The stairs might be the closest thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just that the way they did flip it on itself, make fun of it while still actively very much making a scary movie at the same time, because it wasn't a comedy. There was comedy elements, it was dark comedy, but it was very much still a slasher and still horrifying, which is genius. Like, so much credit to Kevin Williamson for the writing, Wes for how Wes brought it across directing. It really is just, it's the script. We have the script here. I'll show it to you because y'all can't see it on the thing, but we have the script. And it's very much the pages. What's in there is what's in there. There's a couple more lines, actually, though, in Tatum's whole garage scene that didn't make it in. But it kind of was perfect what they did with it, because who wants to talk that much in that situation,
Literally.
Yeah. All right. What's the worst horror film you've ever watched?
Worst horror film? Honestly, there's probably a few. But I don't know why, but the first thing that came to my head is like the Sharknado movies. And I've not watched all the Sharknado movies, but I've attempted to watch a Sharknado movie, and I don't get it.
The Sharknado movies they're good, but they're so, well, like, if you enjoy campiness and really, really stupid movies, the Sharknado movies are great, but they are so campy and so stupid that it is like this wild thing, and there's time travel at one point. Alaska's in that one. Yes, Alaska Thunderfuck. Yeah, that's fair. One of my guilty pleasures is low budget sci-fi and horror. Like, I really will go I'll have random days where I'm just like, you know what, I want to watch bad movies. And there's something good to all of them, but they're not all of them, but most of them. There's a lot of them that have like a lot of good elements, but I'll go through and I'll just binge. I used to love just binging Sci-Fi Channel movies, and Sharknado, coming from that. So I do enjoy them, but they are bad. I watched one, and I don't know if the directors or anyone will ever see this, but it was Velocipaster.
Okay.
Is this atrocious movie. Before I met Avery, I want that on record on this thing was we're on here. I had a date, and the date recommended we watch Velocipaster. And I was like, okay. And you're getting to know someone, and you're like, oh, and I love movies, so sure. And I watch it, and I was just like, this is never going to work out. because
Most
they
likely
made me
date.
watch this. But I bought it on DVD, and now I make other people watch it. And I think that's just more of a trauma thing, because I'm just
Right.
like, I want other people to suffer too.
Like, it can't just be me.
But there's something, it's so bad that there is something really entertaining about it. And they like knew they were making a bad movie too. Like, that's the thing. But like, yeah, I'm gonna show it to you someday, and we're gonna do
We're
another
gonna
one
have
of
to
these,
watch.
and we're gonna talk about this movie, because it's just, there's a part where there's an explosion, but they just couldn't. I don't think they had the budget or any budget. So there's an explosion, and instead of having this car blow up, they just have the car vanish, and they have a text come up and says insert like effects. Just like what? And there's this character in there, and she's a doctor, lawyer, prostitute, and which, you know, ambition and work it, girl, and
Dr. Lawyer
ain't no
Prostitute.
shame, ladies, do your thing. Anyway, but yeah, he's like he's a pastor that goes to Japan, and somehow it was the woods, and then he somehow can now transform into a velociraptor, and he decides to be a vigilante velociraptor
Oh.
pastor
Oh.
with the Dr. Lawyer prostitute as a sidekick. It's wild. Everyone should watch
Okay.
it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna have to add it to the list.
Yeah. We've gone so left field with this. If you were in a horror movie, would you be the first kill, the killer, or the final girl?
Ooh. Honestly, I think I would be the final girl turned killer in like
Ooh.
part 5.
Yes. Well, that's fun because, you know, it's something, and here, I don't want to spoil it. There's a movie that came out recently that I lived for, but people were 50-50 on, because one of the characters, who was a known character from a previous film, ended up being a killer, and people felt some type of way about it. But the fandom has no one to blame but themselves, because we ask for this a lot.
Literally.
How many times have you heard people like say that they, you know, think, or even in the movies where they play with the idea that Sydney could turn into a killer, or that they thought she could be, or the fandom thought at one point, or the fandom thought Gail would be a killer at some point. You know, it's something that you think can happen. Other people really get in the conspiracy on, and they get very passionate about. So then it's like, when it does finally happen and somebody's mad, I'm like, come on. But yeah.
Honestly, as a diehard Scream fan, I was one of the people who was wanting. I thought it would have been the perfect ending to have, to the series, to have Sydney end up being the killer.
Yeah.
That she had gone almost her whole life, or since she was a teenager, fighting off these ghost faces, and she just couldn't live her life without fighting off a ghost face.
Yeah.
So she did it herself, and she finished the job.
I
That's
mean,
just how I thought it would be perfect.
there's still time.
There's
Still time. I love it. I love it. All right. I don't know what I would. I feel like it depends on my mood what I would be, to be completely honest. I don't know. I could be a killer. I could be the first kill. If it were the 80s, I would be the first kill because I'm black. I remember, so my other drag, one of my other drag children, Rosie Petals, asked us this question once. We were driving up north to Tamales, actually, again, where the Stumacher house is. We were driving up to do a show in this town, and Rosie Petals asked everyone in the car, if this were a horror movie, who would like die first, who would go, you know, in what order, and then who would be the final girl. And we all in the car said she would die first, and she was so mad. But I was like, realistically, and I was like, well, me, if it was, I was like, is this, you know, paint the picture, is this the 80s or 90s? And she was just like, sure. And I was like, then I'd go first. She's like, okay, it's current. She's Irish, for context. She's like, it's current. And I was like, okay, then you would go first. And she's like, she got so bad. She's like, why? And I was like, well, I have ridiculous survival instincts. I do. So I would last a while, But if it was still like the 90s, I'd be like Brandy and I Know What You Did Last Summer and be an implied kill and then come back later. But there was like one of the other people in the car was Queera Knightley. Queera, you're going to love this if you see this. But we said that Queera, she just recently moved to London. But we said Queera would be like, because she's tall and she can like, she's got long legs. And I was like, she's in great shape. Now, this is a funny joke because it's not even a joke, it's a true story. But I was like, she was in great shape. She's like, oh, no, no, I'm not. I was like, you were. But I said you were. And I didn't even mean it in a shady way. I was just like, you were. She was in the gym all the time at the time. She just laughed. But I was like, she's got long legs. She could outrun most of us. But she would be like busy, like worrying about how she looked while she was running. She would try to run very sensually, and then she would eventually trip and fall and get killed. And then the other person in the car was Audrey L. And I was just like, Audrey would be the final girl because Audrey is a white girl with black lady instincts. And she would just go and hide in the bushes into the tall grass until everything passed and the danger passed and come out. And she's like, accurate. And that was how that happened. And so, yeah, I guess, again, it depends on the decade and my mood on what I would be on this. All right. Why do you love horror?
I love horror because it always just made me feel, is it strange to say excited?
No, not
It
at all.
always made me feel excited. It was something that I used to bond with my dad with. We would watch the horror movies. I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street, the Halloween movies, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I remember watching I Know What You Did Last Summer a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I've never let go of.
Mm-hmm.
I think I even kind of like my dad used to watch them a lot because they were kind of popular right there in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just stuck with me, whereas like now my family sees like with all my like Scream decorations around the house when it's not Halloween.
Yeah.
I put my Halloween stuff up right at the end of July.
Yes.
And they always will sit here and be like, oh, it's kind of interesting. It's like, well, you're the ones that did it.
Yeah. It is their fault.
It is their fault.
It is their fault. No, that's real. We have an Annabelle doll my mother's not fond of at all because my mother lives with me. And she's like Ghostface, cute. Michael Myers, great. The Nun, anything religious, like The Nun, anything like attached to the Conjuring universe, The Nun, Annabelle, my mother's like, I don't even want to look at it. She shook, and we have Annabelle just sitting around.
It got to a point where slasher films wouldn't satisfy that horror craving, that terrifiedness that I was yearning for. And I ended up realizing because they were just too fun. They were too fun to watch for me.
Yeah.
That what does it is possession.
Yeah.
And so The Conjuring and Insidious, some of the scariest movies that have been made.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Those ones do get me.
I remember watching those ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still traumatized.
Those ones definitely. I remember watching Insidious and I was just like, the second Lynn Shay is just like, it's not the house that's haunted, it's your son. I'm over here like, oh, well, there ain't nothing you can do. Let him go. Let him go. There ain't nothing you can do now. Oh my goodness. No, it's real. And then there was the whole like spoiler alert, the astral projection bit that I was like, oh, okay, fine. But it really was. They did such a good job making it horrifying. The Conjuring, that first one.
Yeah.
So I mean, I enjoy all of them. 3, and the fourth one, they tied it up cute, but the first 2 for me were like really what The Conjuring was all about. But that first one, and it was so intense, and what they did with them, it's just those ones get me. Those ones do get me. So those are the ones I can binge them, but it has to be like one set at a time. I can't like jump between the days. I'm like, okay, today we're doing Conjuring, La Llorona thrown in there, because it's in that universe for the people who are missing that in their marathons. It's in that universe. And the Annabelles, it still works, but sometimes it's separate. The Nuns is their thing because it's really an intense universe.
Yeah, the Annabelle ones are another one I enjoy.
Yeah,
I like those ones a lot. I remember I wasn't allowed to watch The Exorcist until I turned 18 because my mom wouldn't allow me to watch it. And I remember watching it for the first time when I was 18, and I remember laying on my stomach with my hands like this, with my chin right on top, just watching the movie. And I remember by the end of the movie, I was in the corner of my bed, curled up with a blanket, almost crying in tears, with my older cousin laughing at me because it was joyous to see how scared I was of that movie.
Yeah.
And it was very scary, even when I was 18. And by the time I was 18, it had been out for a while. But
I mean, there's a reason it's still one of the best. I had watched it. I had to watch it on the sly because it was another one. My mother, like, she to this day has never watched it, and she's officially. We met Linda Blair at Sinister
yes.
Creature Con recently, an incredibly sweet human being, and my mother has met Linda Blair, has never watched The Exorcist. Like my mother, like she's like, I know what it's about. I don't need to watch it, but she's never watched it. She's seen snippets and like things referenced to it. She even watched because she does like the TV show we watched for years, way too many years. I love the show, but Supernatural went on longer than it should have. But I love it. I love it. I love it. But Linda Blair was on, I believe, one of the first season, first or second season, one of the early episodes, and my mother's seen that, but they have a joke at the end where Jensen Ackles as Dean is just like, "She look familiar to you?" And he's like, "I don't know, I'm craving split piece, or I'm craving pea soup," is what he said. I was like, "Yeah, she's an icon though."
I think I do actually remember that episode.
Yeah.
With that joke specifically.
Yes. Love you, Linda Blair. All right. So this is Screams and Queens Killer Q&A. Not every Q&A is going to be theme specific, but in honor of our incredible guest today, Lola Corruption, we are doing the Scream theme as it's Scream Week Part 2 for us here at Screams and Queens. So in this special one, the very first, we're going to do some light Scream trivia. And it's a light one because tomorrow night we're actually doing, and by the time you all see this, it will have already happened, but we're doing our first Screams and Queens Freaky Features of the Rock Ridge Improvement Club in Oakland, California, fourth Mondays, where we take over and the movie nights and we do a horror movie watch party with trivia. So we're doing Scream trivia tomorrow night, so I can't give away those questions and answers, so I gotta do a lighter version. People are gonna be really mad at me at that one because there's a lot of trick questions. People are gonna be so upset, but you gotta make it complicated. All right, so first question: which horror icon plays a reporter in Scream 1?
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair, and we were just talking about Linda Blair. Perfect. All right, question 2: what 2 horror films are played in Scream 1?
In Scream 1, there's for sure Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And I just keep having the like Nosferatu running in my head from Scream 2, but it's not that one.
Yes. Not far off though. It's another classic. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
While they're in the video store. Randy in the video
Yes.
store. All right. Which actress in Scream 1 accidentally dialed 911?
That would be Ms. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, she repeatedly dialed, for those of you who do not know, because she was committed to her role, but she had no clue the phone was actually connected, and she kept dialing 911. All right. What is Stu Macher's home address in Scream 1?
Oh. I should know this, but I don't.
261 Turner Lane.
261 Turner Lane.
261 Turner Lane! It's just the way Sydney screams that. And
yes.
And then they do the callback in Scream 5 when they're back at Stu's house with the, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. But she won an Oscar, so she won't be offended, with the worst ghost face, in my humble opinion. Oh, God.
She wasn't she?
She just was the most. Here's the thing, there's been obvious Ghostface, but at least a red herring can slightly throw you off to some degree, or at least the acting is so good that you're like, okay, I know this is Ghostface, but you're killing it. She just gave herself away, and people get upset when I say this because they're like, but she was so hot in Nora. That has nothing to do.
Nothing.
with her acting. And they might have lived for it. I don't know. The directors, that could have been their direction. No shade to her as an actress specifically, because again, I don't know what she was told, but I'm like, girl, you were Ghostface. Come on now. Jack Quaid, though, good job, sir. All right. Who voices Ghostface?
Um, I always do this, but
Mhm.
I know that the first name is Lee. Is that not correct?
You've got someone. You got. So Lee Waddell is actually the original Ghostface stuntman, but he didn't
Oh,
voice Ghostface.
and there we go.
So the voice of Ghostface is a man named Roger L. Jackson, and it was very complicated for the cast on set because they didn't know him. Especially when Drew Barrymore originally filmed her scene, she was working with Lee Waddell as a
Mm-hmm.
stuntman, but she had not met Roger L. Jackson. They did that intentionally to make it scary for her. She had asked them specifically to like hear the voice to know it, but she doesn't hear it until the first time until they're filming, which is kind of why in the scene, if you watch it, Drew kind of smiles when she first picks up the phone and hears the voice, like she's holding back from laughing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Roger L. Jackson, and Roger has continued to do the voice of Ghostface all the way through. His voice, though, to me, sounds a lot like Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay,
So I
yeah, I
think,
can hear
if
that.
Roger ever wanted to, retire, you don't need to, Roger. But if Roger ever just been like, screw this, I'm taking a vacation. I've been giving them gold for years. I think they can call Kiefer Sutherland and be like, hey, what's up? All right. Who wrote Scream? What was its original name?
Who wrote Scream? That would be Kevin Williamson. The original name, I feel like I remember this, but I feel like there's a couple of different ones that go in my head.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
But I feel like it was something with the phone, like something like dial tone or something like that. Could be wrong, could be a completely different movie that I'm thinking about.
So, the it's kind of fun because it was Scary Movie. The name was Scary Movie, and Marlon Wayans is a big horror fan, so that was where the idea for Scary Movie came about. The name itself was the original name of Scream, and then it just ended up being a parody of all the films and stuff. But you can tell, obviously, like when you watch those, that he like does his homework and he knows what he's doing. But it was originally Scary Movie. Kevin Williamson wrote the script very quickly at the time and slayed it as only a homosexual can. Horror is gay, y'all. People been getting a little shifty recently in the current political climate, but horror is gay, so people just gotta embrace that. If you were a
Very
horror
gay.
fan, you gotta be down with the
Homosexual.
LGBTQIA plus. Just saying, because I was on Reddit recently.
Not the Reddit.
On the Reddit, I was bored. I got on Reddit, and I posted a picture I did recently as Lorraine Warren, and I posted the picture of me with Annabelle that Instagram loved and people loved, and TikTok, but I posted it on Reddit, and like some hateful people popped out, and I'm like, what are you? Why are you here? This is horror. Why are y'all here?
Why are you
I'm
here?
pretty sure James Wan is, got a little sugar in his tank too. I don't know for sure. I don't know, James. I'm so sorry if it's not true, but all right. Where does Gail work in Scream One?
Gail works at the news station. It is channel. Why am I doing this? I am like blanking on it. I started off real hot, but I'm getting the answers almost there and not just quite.
Yes. Okay, she worked at Top Story.
It is Top Story
This
with
my badge
Gail
doesn't
Weather.
say Top Story, but it does say 6.
Top Story with Gail
Top Story
Weathers.
with Gail Weathers. All right, y'all. Let's see here. What are Randy's rules to surviving a horror movie?
Randy's rules. I remember the specifically. You cannot have sex
Mm-hmm.
and getting all the booze and the stuff thrown at him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the not saying "I'll be right back."
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I like think about to this day. Whenever I hear someone say, "I'll be right back," I'm like, "No, you won't. No, you won't." But I feel like I can't remember all of them. Um, but those ones I feel like were the most iconic because it
That
got
was,
the most
yeah.
reaction.
And the other one you kind of had in there where you're like, they threw the booze because the other one was no drinking and no
Oh
drugs.
yes,
Yeah. So,
yes.
yeah, you were right on it. You were on it. Okay, so I'm going to throw one in that's not on here. This one will be a question at Freaky Features. So, aside from Scream 2, which other iconic horror films, teen horror films, were written by Kevin Williamson?
Did he also write I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yes.
And that's really all that matters. I remember as a kid, those were the two movies I always went back to. I always went back to Scream, and I always went back to I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes.
What are you waiting for?
So good. I mean, the writing, and again, coming back to like people feeling some type of way about like us gay horror fans. We are mighty, we are strong, we are proud. Y'all love these movies. Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Um, Kevin Williamson did not write I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, but wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream 1, Scream 2, and The Faculty,
The
which is
Faculty.
another teen horror fave. And I mean, true testament to his writing. They were all like back to back within like a 3-4 year
Yeah,
span,
they were.
but they were so unique. Each
Mm-hmm.
one, each individual one was so unique and still gave us so much, which was really cool.
I actually
So,
remember The Faculty and Scream having a very similar
mm-hmm.
poster,
Yeah.
movie
They
poster.
did. It was very. It was the V of everybody
Yes,
kind of going
with the
in,
cast.
just
Yeah.
like these here. I've got the VHS right here, but yeah, this one's actually signed by Lee Waddell. We met him at Sinister Creature Con, but just in like that, Faculty was very similar. Even I Know
Oh
What You Did
yes.
Last Summer had a similar, also Lee Waddell. Um, we were planning on meeting. We actually saw Jamie Kennedy at Sinister Creature Con this past June, and again we were planning on trying to get to GalaxyCon to see Skeet and Matthew and Jamie again, but sadly just life got in the way and we weren't able to make it. But soon, again, they're coming in so hot right now with the horror. Honestly, the whole Scooby Doo cast.
Right.
With like Sarah's resurgence coming back into
Mm-hmm.
film after her 10-year hiatus and just killing it with shows and movies and her cameo and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie coming back to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Linda is getting ready to play Mrs. Voorhees in the Friday the 13th TV series that they're
Oh,
working
okay.
on. She's actively filming that, I believe. And Matthew with Five Nights at Freddy's coming back to Scream 7.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be in Mike Flanagan's Carrie series as well. So that's really,
Oh,
really
I
cool.
didn't know there was going to be a
Yeah,
Carrie series.
there's a Carrie
And
series
I
coming.
believe Skeet is also going to be in Five
Five Nights at
Nights.
Freddy's, yeah. And Matthew kind of gave away some spoilers at a recent con because he was saying
I
that like
saw
Skeet
that.
was so good that he hopes they get a third one so he can come back. So I was like, well, he's not dying then. But Matthew also kind of gave away some like spoilers as well. He also like kind of gave away like a Scream spoiler because we know they've already announced so many people returning. Obviously these characters are Ghostface, although Ghostface and Dewey, so they've
Mm-hmm.
all died off on the show at this point, so or the films, so you know that it has to be either flashback sequences or pretty much what was happening with Melissa Barrera's character with
Mm-hmm.
Sam, where she was
Yeah.
hallucinating them.
Yeah.
Maybe Sydney hallucinates all these people. But I'm thinking because Matthew kind of gave something away, and if you go back to other convention conversations, it could tie into something else he gave away. So originally, Kevin Williamson had wrote a script for Scream 3, but there were script leaks. They had to change things. They also had to rewrite the script due to Nev Campbell's schedule
Mm-hmm.
because she was working on another project at the time. And so originally the plan was for Stu to be alive, and Stu was going to contact Sydney and let her know that he had been orchestrating all of this from prison this
Mm-hmm.
entire time. And that was the plan, which, cool plan, love it, ties it in. Um, Especially because technically, like, Matthew Lillard is in Scream 2. He's in, like, the party scene as an extra,
Mm-hmm.
but it was because he was dating Neve Campbell at the time. But it was this whole, they had the plan to do that, and then that shifted, and then they brought in Roman Bridger, which some people felt some type of way about. I personally love Scream 3. I
I do
love the
too.
Roman arc, the only solo Ghostface we've had to date. Absolutely amazing.
I
Um,
love Roman Bridger,
Roman
director
Bridger,
and
director
brother.
and brother. And
Live.
brother. So good. And their whole fight was epic to me because I was like,
Iconic.
this is sibling rivalry right here. I could watch that whole part on repeat and how she flips it on him. But any which way, I guess we think alike. But Matthew gave that away that was Kevin Williamson's original plan. So and then in Scream 6, which is one of those movies, and I'm going to just say it while we're here. I was pleasantly surprised when watching, and I was like, because I didn't know how it was going to go, and I lived for it the first time I watched it. And then I went back and watched it a couple times, and there's a lot of weird shit in that movie that probably didn't make sense, probably shouldn't have happened. We'll talk about that on another time. But I loved that they brought Kirby back, and when Kirby and Mindy are talking, and they're like, the TV that killed Stu Macher, and Mindy's like, if you believe he's dead.
Yes.
So at the recent convention, or one of the recent convention appearances, Matthew talks about Kevin calling him, and he's like, I've been waiting for this call for a long time. So I'm thinking they're going to go with that arc, and Stu is going to be alive, and possibly what all these cameos that we're going to see, because there was even a snippet of somebody getting caught on set that looked like they were dressed as Jill, so probably was Emma Roberts. I'm thinking that they're going to have like a sequence where he really is communicating with all of these different people and somehow like orchestrating it, and I think that would be really sickening, honestly.
Honestly, yes. I love that you brought that up because going along with the theory that I had brought up earlier about Sydney, one of the other things, and you can ask my brother and you can ask my boyfriend about this.
Yeah.
I was aware of the story about how Stu was supposed to be alive in Scream 3, and I had always said how that would have been such an amazing way to like bring back everything. I was like, we saw Stu with the TV on the face, but we never saw him die. No one ever said anything about him being dead. I had always said that it would be so like full circle moment if he was the one who was behind it all. Like if we ended up finding out that in Scream 3 when Roman was the one who was like, I was the one who was doing this, I was the one who was doing that, I'm the one who told your boyfriend to kill your mom, blah 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 blah. I always thought that it would have just been so much better if Stu was the one who was behind it all. And then when they decided to bring Scream back with Scream 5, I got really, really excited because I was like, this would be the perfect opportunity because it would mean so much more all these years later to still be the one that's coming after Sydney.
Yeah.
And so if they do it that way,
it'd be so sickening.
It'd be iconic.
And just being able to bring back all those actors and Ghostface and see, oh my God, if they bring back, oh my God, Mrs. Loomis.
Such an icon.
She's honestly, when people do ask them, they say like, who's your favorite Ghostface? Honestly, who is your favorite Ghostface, actually?
My favorite Ghostface would have to be between Billy Loomis and Roman.
Yeah.
Roman is one of my all-time favorites, and not just because both of them are hot and I had crushes on them, but the full circle moment with Roman coming and being like, I was the one who was behind it all, as much as that would have been more perfect for Stu, it was really cool to see. I also really, really enjoy Scream 3.
Yeah.
I am one of the people who just enjoy all three movies.
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith in the beginning of Scream 2, also iconic.
Yes.
I love all three.
Yes.
But yeah, I would definitely have to say Roman or Skeet from
Billy. No, honestly, I think the thing about the first three is I fully believed in and supported the Ghostface choices. I know in two, originally Hallie was supposed to be a Ghostface, and I
Mm-hmm.
would have been cool with that too, but I think I liked the direction they went in, and using her boyfriend as the red herring, even though I do believe there was a version of the script where he was also supposed to be,
Yeah,
it was going to be another boyfriend. I'm like, Sydney's never dating again.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
mention that earlier. You said that Gail at some point was supposed to be one, and I do believe that it was for Scream 2. It was supposed to be Hallie, uh, the boyfriend Derek,
Mm-hmm.
Gail, and Cotton were all
Yeah, and
supposed to
another
be
script,
ghost
Gail was
faces.
supposed to
Yeah,
die as well, so it's like a
yeah,
whole thing. But yeah, but I honestly like I loved I love obviously Billy and Stu. I think I was a little bit more attached to Stu though, just because of like Matthew's quirky nature
yeah.
for me personally, and just he seems like a follower, which is why it would be very exciting to see him
Right.
as someone who orchestrated this, because
Yeah.
you would thought the whole time Billy was the brains, and then you find out later Roman was the brains, and then Billy took that further, and you
Mm-hmm.
just thought Stu was along for the ride, but it's like no, there's more to him. But I loved, and like Mickey, you're like, okay, this is a psychopath who just wanted to be a psychopath. Cute. Roman, total smart genius, like motive, his whole motive believable, made sense, and he was great. He was highly ambitious. I know Angelina was supposed to be his like sidekick in that one, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad they did away with that arc. Love the actress. But I live for Laurie Metcalf as Mrs. Loomis, because her, just the whole thing, like, my motive is good old fashioned revenge.
Yeah.
That was just pure. It was real. She really was this woman driven to madness due to her husband's affair, then her son dying and everything he did, and and then I thought it was genius, and she was just fun, and her and Sydney's banter
Mm-hmm.
was so good. So love her.
Her performance was so good, you kind of felt bad for
It
her.
was so good. You kind of felt bad for her. You're just like, you know what? It's real. Scream 4, Wes Craven's last film in the franchise before he passed. I thought Jill was a genius concept. What they did with her sidekick. I'm like, he was smart. It was a smart move. I love the Culkins. Great. That whole moment between him and Kirby, because honestly, that delivered us one of the most iconic
Yeah.
Scream moments ever, with Kirby
Mm-hmm.
listing off all the horror
Literally
films
all of them.
and just beautifully. And we just found out that Kirby may be returning to Scream 7, which we've been crossing our fingers for. Um, and so iconic. But Jill was such a genius concept, because, you see it in your everyday life. Whether you like have siblings, you may have like lived in the shadow of cousins, relatives, what have you. Ashley Simpson wrote a whole album about it. And to see that amped up in such a Scream way, to have Jill be motivated by the fact that she wants to be famous, and
Mm-hmm.
her cousin's famous because she's the end all be all victim of the survivor. And then there's Jill just like, just being real. You don't have to achieve anything. You just got to go viral, and her trying to have her moment. And it was such a wild bit, but so good. And like, she clearly was crazy, so you believe that. And so I was like, cool. And then you jump to 5. Again, I feel how I feel about
Mm-hmm.
about the one Ghostface, but Jack Quaid, fabulous, phenomenal, great. And then you get to 6. They bring the motive back to Scream 2.
Mm-hmm.
They're highly ambitious. There's a total of 5 Ghostface in that movie,
Mm-hmm.
one of which is killed before the movie even starts.
Yep.
The other one is killed after the movie starts, and you're like, what is happening here? And again, that's why I just feel like that movie, they gave us a lot of shock value
Yeah.
to cover up the fact that it was bad writing. I don't know if you agree with this or feel any type of way about that, but
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I definitely think that when they came with 5, it was it was really good. Like, it was really nice to see how they came back to Scream. I think 4 was done at a really cool time from the original 3, because it was after so much time had already passed, things in life had changed. Cell phones came, well, I guess cell phones were already a thing, but smartphones came more into play, social media, all that good stuff. Like, that was something that came in so different from the original 3, and then we go into 5 where this stuff's already established, so we don't really need to talk about this more. But I do think that like 5 was very kind of almost returned to form, and then 6 came back and was kind of like trying to do what I kind of felt like maybe I was afraid I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot, was going to do, was try to be really gory and really shock factor and try to get people that way, and that's what I felt that 6 was.
And what I love about the I Know What You Did Last Summer is, like, you know, a fan made it, and you can tell when you watch it that a fan made it, which makes it really exciting. But and you know, clearly the directors did a great job with Scream 5. They did a great job with String. I'm a fan of their work. I love Abigail. I love the Ready or Not film, like the first film. I'm excited for the sequel. But that one, I just felt like the writing itself was, there's still so many good moments, but it was really much, and it's, you know, I know there's conflict. There's the 5 and 6 core 4 fans. I'm not involved in that. I think all the cast was great. I enjoy Sam and Tara. Love Chad and Mindy. And I love Sydney, and I love all the characters. But it was very much like, we're gonna prove we can do this movie without Nev by throwing a lot of money into it and a lot of shock factor. But again, going back to the writing itself, there were so many, and there's always been elements of things that were somewhat unrealistic in each of the films. Having said that, you still believe it to the degree in which, you know, a person can survive being stabbed as many times as Dewey was. That's realistic. Tara, very much so. But there were things that were happening to them in this movie that I was like, none of these people should be walking around. None of them should be functioning. The fact that Tara wasn't pulled out on a stretcher at the end of that movie was beyond me. The fact that Kirby wasn't like fully just like, I'm just like, what is happening? Kirby was shot like 3 times. I don't think she was wearing a vest. Chad, honey, there was no reason Chad was survived that, honey. And here's the thing: I root for Chad and Mindy because their mother. And here's the thing: Heather Matarazzo is an icon, and Heather Matarazzo is phenomenal because Heather has only been in 2 Scream movies as cameos, and has stole the scenes each time because we love Heather Matarazzo. Also, Heather Matarazzo will be at Sinister Creature Con this October on the 18th and 19th, so get your tickets. But she lost Randy, so I was like, I don't want her losing her kids. But there was a point where I'm like, okay, Mindy can survive the stuff that Mindy went through, but Chad... And that was a visually, again, exciting moment because the 2 Ghostface in unison, we'd never seen that before. I was like, sickening. But then I was like, no, this is, because again, they play you up so much because they excite you as a thrill seeker, as a horror fan, for the slash and the gore, all of that. You're like, oh my God, Ghostface is taking people down in a liquor store. It's on and popping up in New York in these streets. You see the shrine, you're like, is this a cult of Ghostface? Like, there's so much happening. You're like, oh my God. But then you go back and you really take it all in and you dissect it and you're like, this was really bad. Like, there's things I enjoy, and I will rewatch that movie for sure every time. But I'm also like, I will watch it and be like, this is ridiculous. This made no sense. There were several things that made no sense. Logistically, spiritually, metaphysically. Just things that just did. Those are my thoughts. I need to stop. Is there anything else you would like to say or tell the people or...
No. I think thank you for having me.
Yes.
It was very fun. I love the setup. It's really cute. I think I might take a couple of these things as I head out.
Well, actually, we do have a gift for you. A gift for doing this with us. We
Oh my
have a
god.
ghost face necklace.
It is so cute.
I was gonna get you the ghost face bag, but you already have one, so
Yes, I do.
yes.
I almost bought this for myself, so I'm glad I have it. Thank you so
Yay!
much.
Yes. So we've
Oh,
been
it's so
planning on doing
cute.
this for quite some while. So I've had this for like a month because we've been planning this for like over a month. Trying
We
to,
have.
I got this and I've been sitting on it. And yeah, and we have a really cool prize basket for trivia
It's very cute.
for Freaky Features. So we're very excited for that. And yeah, and super stoked for February when Seven rolls out on us.
Yes.
There's already several characters that really feel like, I mean, they put Anna Camp in this movie. Nobody wastes Anna Camp in a
You
movie.
don't. You
Like,
don't.
she was just on a show called Hysteria with Bruce Campbell, and she was insane. And I'm like, you just don't waste her. So I feel like she's an obvious potential ghost face, but then they might know that she's obvious, so they might be trying to fake us out. There are fan theories that she's Stu Macher's sister,
Oh.
which would
Okay.
be a cool concept in the sense of if it is working with the idea of Stu that we think they are, he
Mm-hmm.
could be coordinating with his sister. Having said that, I would also think Sydney would probably know what his sister looked like because Woodsboro was a small town,
Yeah.
but we don't know. Anything's possible. They cast another young actor who definitely was given some Ghostface vibes, but I'm looking forward to the being surprised and
Yes. I'm looking
seeing
forward to
it.
it.
Yes, and thank you again for being here with
Thank you
us.
for having me.
Yes. All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning into our very first Screams and Queens Killer Q&A with our very special guest, Lola Corruption. Like, share us, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. And yeah, we look forward to doing more of these, and we hope you enjoy.